kind of sleek, makes you feel like a Barbie doll. It's fun, like a little Polly Pocket accessory. Because sometimes when you know, you know. You know? Do you know? Hello! Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. That was super sweet of you. Oh, I'm sorry, Bert. Did I disturb you with my big clap? He's such a good boy. He's having a nice little rest back there, taking a little afternoon nap. What a sweetheart. Anyway, let's talk about today's makeup look. So these are products from my makeup rotation. If you still haven't seen that video, I will link it down below. I'm trying makeup rotations instead of a project pan this year, and so far it's going really well. I'm on like day 5 of using these products and I haven't gotten sick of them yet. So today I am wearing the mattes from the Sugarpill Fun Size palette. I'm wearing this shade and this shade as my matte shades here, and then on the center of the lid I put a little concealer down first. I did kind of like a faux cut crease that I later outlined with graphic liner, but then I used my Glisten Cosmetics Shapeshifter palette and I took this gorgeous shade Elixir, which is so hard to see on camera, but it's like a pink iridescent, and I have that all over the lid. And then I am wearing my Glisten Cosmetics split liner in the shade Strawberry Cheesecake. I wanted to do some warm tones today because I've been so into cool tones lately. I feel like I wear mints and blues every single day, so I wanted to switch it up for you to show you that I can do warm tones too. But that's not what this video is about. You did not click on this video to find out that I can give you warm tones and cool tones, baby. No, you clicked on this video because you, like me, have an interest in my biggest makeup regrets. Now, I'm not talking about biggest makeup regrets of 2021. I'm not talking about biggest makeup regrets of the moment. I'm talking about my biggest makeup regrets of all time. One of my favorite series that I do on my channel is talking about makeup I changed my mind about, giving you my 10th impressions on makeup products, because I try a lot of makeup that I might initially like, but then end up disliking, or makeup that I initially dislike and then end up liking. But I thought we'd switch it up today and talk about makeup that was loathe at first swipe, if you will. Makeup that the first time I used it, I was like, nope, this is awful, this is a dud, I'm not gonna ever use this again, because sometimes when you know, you know. You know? Do you know? If you don't know, I'm gonna tell ya. So, if that sounds like a topic that is interesting to you and you wanna hear about the worst makeup that I have ever tried, then I encourage you to please subscribe and keep on watching because it's coming at you right now. Alright, let me scooch over so I can put the products on the screen. I don't have most of these products anymore because of course they're the worst makeup I've ever tried. I got rid of them as soon as I could. But I was inspired to film this video today specifically because one of the products I want to talk about is my biggest makeup regret, and it's currently going kind of viral on TikTok as like a good product that people should try, and I'm like, what are you guys doing that I'm not, you know? So let's talk about the CoverGirl Clean Fresh Skin Milk. Now this foundation came out like beginning of 2020. That's like 2 full years ago at this point. I remember when this product was announced, I was so freaking excited. I was like, a drugstore skin tint that seems like it has skincare ingredients in it. It claimed to have aloe vera in it. It's supposed to have a very nice, hydrating, lightweight, light coverage finish. Hello, buzzwords, that's stuff I'm interested in. So naturally, I flocked to Walmart as soon as I could, and I bought this foundation, and I took it home, and I put it on, and I hated it immediately. Oh my gosh, I was having a full-blown breakdown in my bathroom putting this on, filming that video. I will link it down below. It's an older video. It's definitely not my best work, but you can see my live reaction of just how awful this foundation was. And I watched reviews ahead of time and I saw it working well for people, but I have never had a foundation reject my face the way that this foundation rejected my face. And I do feel like that is the best way to put it, because I swiped this foundation onto my skin and it's as if I were putting oil on vinegar. Like it just was like, nope, not gonna stick, not gonna work. Also, it burned a little, so that's not great. I later looked at the ingredients and watched some more reviews, and some people were saying that because there was like some sodium-based ingredients, that could be why it was burning. But it's possible I had some broken skin, even if I couldn't like see broken skin. You know, you can sometimes have micro tears in your skin. Salt in the wound doesn't feel good, so that could have been why it burned a little bit. It wasn't even burning enough to like make me never want to use it again. It was just the fact that it would not stick to my skin, and it didn't matter what I did, whether I put it on with my fingers, which you would think would be the intended way to put on this product because it advertises itself as like a tinted moisturizer type of product, and I always apply tinted moisturizers with my fingers. So I did that first and that didn't work. I tried it with a brush. That didn't work. I will be honest, I didn't try it with a sponge because I do not think it would work with the sponge. My brush absorbed all of it, so I'm pretty sure a sponge would absorb even more. Nothing I did to try to make this foundation work would work, and like I said, I've been seeing it all over TikTok lately of people being like, if you want that trendy, fresh glass skin look, then you need to try the CoverGirl Clean Fresh Skin Milk. And I'm like, what? No, 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 no. And even though I say I saw some good reviews of this product, even the good reviews that I saw, like if I went back and watched them again later, people kind of just excused the bad parts of the foundation. Like they would put it on and be like, oh, it's pilling a little bit, but it's probably just the primer I'm wearing underneath. It's not the primer you're wearing underneath. It's the foundation. The foundation sucks. That's why it's pilling. Because that's the other thing. I know I keep saying it was like rejecting my skin. That's how it was rejecting my skin. Like I would swipe it on and it would immediately ball up. Like it was not mixing with something on my skin. And I also tried it with different primers underneath. I tried it with no primer underneath, and then I tried it with different moisturizers underneath, and the foundation was just, it was just never gonna work, you know? So I wanted to bring this one up first in the video in case you don't want to watch the rest of the video. I wanted to bring this up first because like I said, I've been seeing this cycle around TikTok again. Most of them are sponsored. By the way, with TikTok, you gotta really look. You see that little sponsored tag? They put it real tiny at the bottom there, much tinier than on Instagram. I don't know how people are making this look good in the ads because it has just never worked for me. General disclaimer though, of course we all have different skin types and our skin reacts differently to different things, so like, you know, maybe it will work for somebody with oily skin. I don't know, but didn't seem to advertise itself to oily skin. It seemed to advertise itself to dry skin, and on this dry skin lady, it didn't work at all. One of the absolute worst, nay, the worst foundation I have ever used, and a huge makeup regret. Alright, so luckily with the CoverGirl Clean Fresh Skin Milk, that was a drugstore product, so I didn't lose too much money on that makeup regret, but the next product I'm gonna talk about is a luxury product that I really regret buying. Luckily I got it at TJ Maxx. You guys know me, I'm never gonna take a big risk on a product unless I'm 1000% sure it's gonna be good. So I got the Marc Jacobs Velvet Noir Major Volume Mascara at TJ Maxx, and I gotta say, it's the worst mascara I've ever used. And I don't say that lightly. I've tried a lot of mascaras. I'm a mascara lover. You guys know I don't wear falsies very often, so I like to try a ton of mascaras. And I've tried high-end and I've tried drugstore. I found favorites, I found not so favorites. I'm telling you right here, this is the worst one I've ever used, and let me tell you why. First of all, the brush is massive. And I used to be a fan of big brushes. Back when I was in high school, I used to use the CoverGirl Lash Blast. That was like my cult favorite mascara because it had the huge brush and I thought it would make my lashes bigger. Over time, I realized that larger brushes just tend to mean that they're a little messier, unless you have really big eyes, which I don't know, I think I have pretty regular sized eyes. I don't think there's a generic eye size. I don't think you could say regular eyes or big eyes, but I think you would have to have eyes that fit a larger brush in order to make that less messy. So the Marc Jacobs mascara does have a massive brush, so that's something I already don't like because I feel very out of control. I don't know how anybody could use this for their lower lashes because it's too huge. Like even if I'm super careful and you know, you make the mascara face and you go like this, I still couldn't just get like a single lash. Like it just was not working for me at all. And then the other thing is the formula. It's wet. And I know some people will say if you have a mascara that's too wet, you know, just open it up and then close it, let it sit for a week or two, then use it again and it'll be perfect. I did that and it did not work at all. I don't understand the science behind this Marc Jacobs mascara formula because it's like I couldn't try this out if I tried. I let it sit in my drawer for like 3 weeks, a month. I went back and tried it again, still as wet as if I had just opened it. Like this formula, I could not get to dry out. I don't know, maybe I should have left the cap off. Maybe I should have blown in it. Maybe I should have got a blow dryer or something because it's like it just would not dry down to a place where it didn't make an absolute mess on my eyelashes. So we already have the brush that's too big, so that's making a mess because it's impossible to control no matter how careful I am. And then on top of that, you have the wet formula, which makes it even harder to control because you're already trying so hard not to accidentally touch like your actual eyelid. And then when you do, it's horrendous to try to clean up. And I do that even with my favorite mascaras. You know, sometimes you accidentally, and you're not paying attention because you're trying to watch a true crime video at the same time as doing your mascara, then you accidentally get a little smudge, and then typically what you do is you just wait for it to dry down, you go in with a little spoolie and you just kind of like shave it off. You can really just kind of get it off with your finger if you let it dry with most mascaras. With the Marc Jacobs mascara, like I said, this mascara did not dry. Even on my eyelashes, after I had had it on for a while, I would like touch them to feel if they were dry like a half hour later, and they were not dry yet. So trying to get a smudge off was really, really hard. You know, it would kind of ruin whatever eye look I did, because then I would have to go in with an actual Q-tip with makeup remover to get it off and then try to go back in with eyeshadow, but then the lashes are still wet, so then they're getting more smudges through the whole process, and it's just an absolute mess and such a hassle for a luxury mascara. If you're gonna cost the high price tag that this mascara costs, again, I got mine at TJ Maxx, so I paid like $5 for it, but if you're gonna pay the normal price point for this, you better not smudge, and you better not make a mess, and you better not ruin my makeup day. And the Marc Jacobs Velvet Noir mascara did all of those things. That's why it is one of my biggest makeup regrets. All right, let's talk about one of the only items that I still have in my collection because I can't bring myself to declutter it yet because it's such a cult favorite, and this one I do feel like maybe I just got a dud, but I'm gonna talk about it anyways. Let's talk about the KVD Everlasting Blush, specifically the shade Foxglove, which is so wild because this is like the cult favorite shade. Like when people talk about cult favorite blushes, you're probably gonna hear them talk about KVD Foxglove. And why? It's patchy. It blends horribly on my skin. I have tried it with different foundations. I have tried it with different bronzers. I have made sure to use all matte products underneath so there was absolutely no dewiness that it can catch to. I have made sure to let my foundation sit for a really long time so I can make sure it's fully set down. I have not been able to make this blush not look patchy on me, and I feel like a fool every time. It's really upsetting because it is a pretty shade. I get why this is the cult favorite shade because it's a really nice, like neutrally mauve. Sometimes with mauvey blushes, they can almost look a little too contoury, which if that's the look you're going for, you know, incredible, but this one's definitely a lot more flexible between makeup looks because of that neutralness to the mauve. You know, it almost seems contradictory. And neutrally mauve, who knew it existed? KVD did, and I love the shade. 10 out of 10 for shade, 0 out of 10 for application though. And what frustrates me so much about this patchiness is, you know, every once in a while you put on a blush, it's a little patchy, maybe you didn't let your foundation set down. Typically what you do is you just put a little bit more on your brush and you blend it out, because if a blush is nice and blendable, then you should be able to cover up that patchiness. Not with this one though. And also typically with patchy blushes or a patchy product, you can go in with your finger afterwards and kind of try to like at least smooth those edges to try to salvage the makeup look. This guy was not moving at all. He stuck exactly to the spot. There was no saving my face makeup that day. I just had to pose in the picture in a way that you couldn't see the patchy side because this guy was just so patchy, and I'm just really confused. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Again, maybe I just got a dud. I feel like I never hear anybody speak ill of these KVD Everlasting blushes. And I have another shade, Honeysuckle, that performs beautifully and I don't have these issues with. So maybe it is just a dud, but I would love to know if you guys like this blush. Is there a trick to making it work? Because I have just not been using it. Since those first few times, I used it a bunch of different ways to see if I did something wrong. After that, I just stuck it in the back of my drawer and I don't even want to look at it anymore because it just makes me so upset. And luckily KVD was kind enough to send this to me. Thanks so much, KVD. That was super sweet of you. So this isn't a regret purchase per se, but it is a makeup product that I have an extreme feeling of loathing towards, so I wanted to include it. And again, I'm begging for help at this point. I ask at every point I can. I try to bring this up as much as possible because I feel like maybe I'm just doing something wrong, but I have an extreme loathing towards the KVD Everlasting Blush in Foxglove, and it's definitely a makeup product I regret putting on my face. All right, let's talk about another cult favorite that did not work for me at all. Let's talk about the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. I don't have it anymore. I decluttered this a long time ago, but I wanted to bring this one up today because, again, like I said, this is a cult favorite. Everybody seems to love the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, and if you're somebody who has somehow not tried it yet but you want to, I just want to give you a little heads up here. This was not made for the cool tone girlies. This bronzer is so orange on me. I cannot fathom the shade selection of these Physicians Formula Butter Bronzers. I know they've expanded their range over the years, and by expanded I mean they've added like 2 more shades. It's still a terrible, terrible bronzer range, but I feel like they just need to focus more on undertones because this is so warm toned, and I've seen it work on other people, but to me, this is an absolute nightmare. It's not a terrible formula, although I do feel like the formula is a bit overhyped. I don't think it's anything super special. The packaging is way too bulky and it breaks super easily. Oh my gosh, this broke so easily on me because you know what they do with this Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer? So you get that round packaging right. You know, oh, it's kind of sleek, makes you feel like a Barbie doll. It's fun, like a little Polly Pocket accessory. But what they do is in that little rounded, you know, covering thing they have there, there's a space under the bronzer like this. So if you place down the bronzer like even a little bit roughly, not even rough, so if you put down your bronzer like, I don't know, maybe like that, most things wouldn't break if you put them in like that. The Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer is just, I don't like the packaging of it, I don't like the shade of it. I just wanted to put this one in here as a warning if you are also a cool toned friend like myself. It's orange, and I used the lightest shade, by the way, and I know that the bronzers they've added to the collection have been deeper, so it's not even like I can go try another shade and see if it's better now. And I feel like in addition to expanding their bronzer range and adding more deeper shades, they should add more undertones too. I don't know why makeup brands are like dead set on releasing like 3 bronzers and that's it. One, it's not inclusive. You have to include everyone in the vast range of skin tones that beauty lovers have, but also in addition to that, I wish brands would put more focus on undertones because I do feel like a lot of brands just think of bronzers as a way to add warmth, which of course, yes they are, but there's more ways to add warmth without just having an orangey golden undertone because that doesn't work on everyone. It doesn't work on people with cool tones. I don't think it works on people with olive tones either. It might work on people with golden undertones, but the rest of us are out here begging for you to come up with a bronzer that isn't orange. So yeah. The Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer was definitely a huge makeup regret of mine, especially because so many people told me to buy it because it's a cult favorite. Not their fault, you know, it probably works for them, but this was a big makeup regret for me. Alright, well I'm just gonna go ahead and start talking and hope that my radiator stops screaming in a moment and that you can't hear it too badly. But the last product that is one of my biggest makeup regrets that I want to talk about today is this dang old eyeshadow palette that I tried to declutter many months ago and I just still haven't gotten rid of. Here's the deal. I do declutters, and like I say in all my declutter videos, I try not to throw makeup away unless it's expired because I want to try to give it to somebody else who might be able to enjoy it. So I try not to throw things away right away, so I've been saving this to try to give it to somebody, but I haven't given it to anyone yet because it's so bad. I feel like it's cursed. I might just end up throwing this away. I don't even think I've said what this is yet. It's the Natasha Denona Mini Tropic Palette. If you've seen all of my declutter videos, then you probably remember me talking about this. This is maybe the worst eyeshadow formula I've ever tried, and it was my first experience with Natasha Denona, so not a great way to start off. I'm not writing off the brand as a whole forever, but this was a really bad eyeshadow palette. I have heard that the Tropic palette was a dud, but this one really blew me away with what a dud it was because the mattes are patchy, they don't blend at all, the shimmers are super dull and not impactful. This one is okay. This minty shade is like an okay shade out of all of them, but at the end of the day, it's really just okay, whereas the rest of them are bad. Now, Natasha Denona is selling this on the Sephora website for $25, and I think she should sell this for $5, and I maybe wouldn't feel so ripped off. Like, this reminds me of like an e.l.f. bite-sized palette type of formula, and I didn't like the e.l.f. bite-sized palette formula either. I decluttered my e.l.f. bite-sized palette a while ago because I thought the formula was subpar, but I spent $3 on that, so a little bit less regret than this $25 eyeshadow palette where every single shade is bad except for the one shade which is just okay. So $25 for one okay shade I think is very upsetting. I think that she should sell this for a lot less, and yeah, it's just one of the worst eyeshadow palettes that I've ever bought. One other eyeshadow palette I want to talk about that is the other worst eyeshadow palette I think I've ever bought is the NYX Ultimates palette. I got this shade, I don't even remember the name of the palette, I decluttered this one a while ago, but I still think about how bad this palette is to this day because I constantly see people talking about how good the NYX Ultimates palettes are. I even saw somebody say the other day, I watched a reel, oh, and I really like this person too, and I'm sure she was, you know, being genuine, maybe the NYX Ultimate palettes work better for her, but she said they were comparable to like high-end eyeshadows, and I'm like, no, unless the high-end eyeshadows are bad too, because I think these are terrible eyeshadow formulas. The mattes are like non-existent, they're very not pigmented, which is fine. You know, that was my favorite part of the palette, was the mattes actually, because at the time when I bought this, I was more into a subtle makeup look. Clearly, we've strayed far from that now. But the shimmers in this palette gave us nothing. The glitters in this palette gave us nothing. Like, this whole palette as a whole pretty much gave us nothing. It was another one of those formulas that felt like it had hard pan, like from right when you got it, even when it was brand new, which is very confusing because typically you get hard pan after you've had a palette for a while and you know it gets your natural oils maybe from your fingers and stuff, but this one felt like it had hard pan right from the beginning, so that was just very confusing to me. I wanted to bring this one up because, like I said, I've been seeing some TikToks and reels of people comparing this formula to high-end formulas, and I just feel like you guys gotta treat yourselves a little better, higher your standards, you know? There's so many good indie makeup brands that have like the best eyeshadow formulas, like freaking Oden's Eye Cosmetics has a great eyeshadow formula, Sugarpill has a great eyeshadow formula. Who else do I like? Midas has an incredible eyeshadow formula, and Midas is closing for business in 2022. I'm so sad about it, but they're having a huge sale right now, so you guys should totally check out Midas's website if you want some really good high quality eyeshadows for a low price point, because I feel like NYX keeps increasing their prices too. NYX has me so confused. They used to be like a really good affordable drugstore brand, and now it feels like they have more Sephora-like pricing, so I don't love that about it, and I really don't like the NYX Ultimates formula, and it's one of the eyeshadow palettes that I have the most regret over purchasing. Alright you guys, and with that we reached the end of the video, and you know what, to close off the video, I'm finally tossing it. I'm finally throwing away my Natasha Denona Mini Tropic palette. You're seeing it here first. I will not pull it out of the garbage. I'm throwing it away. Like I said, I don't like to throw makeup away because I like to pass it on to someone else, but that palette is just so bad. I don't think anyone else could get good use out of it. I also don't want to pass along bad makeup. I tried to pass along makeup that is good and just didn't work for me. I can't see how that would work for anybody. It was just really, really bad. But yeah, let me know what you think about my makeup regrets I've talked about today. I would love to hear your makeup regrets. You know, I feel like this video, of course, is a little petty, just talking about makeup I don't like, but I do intend for it to be educational because I think a lot of times we keep things in our cart or on our wish list forever. Like the Natasha Denona Mini Tropic palette stayed on my wish list for like over a year before I finally bought it, and then I bought it and it was a regret purchase. And the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer is one of the first products I bought when I got into makeup that I was so excited about, and then I was so disappointed when it didn't work out for me. So I do these videos as more of a warning to you, to try to give you a heads up, to maybe see if you can try something before you buy it, maybe see if you have a friend who already has it, or if you go to a store with testers. If you go into an Ulta, you can test stuff out first. So I'm trying to give you a heads up. I don't want you to waste your money. And I thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. I love posting makeup commentary videos like this, and I got a lot more planned for 2022. I have a new series I'm doing next week. I'm so excited to start it. It's gonna be so much fun. So I'd love to have you subscribe. Check out my description box for all of the makeup details of the makeup on my face today. Also in my description box, I'll have a bunch of Black Lives Matter resources to support the Asian American community, and resources to support the LGBTQ+ community. So please check out those links if you haven't yet. And I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!